Chapter 3, Prāṇa, Ancient Model, Modern Translation. The force that animates life. Ask someone to define life, and they may point to a beating heart, electrical activity in the brain, breathing lungs, or cellular metabolism. Ask an ancient yogi, and they would likely answer with a single word, prana. Prana is one of the most fundamental concepts in yoga, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood. It is often translated simply as breath, energy, or life force. None of these definitions is entirely accurate. Breath is not prana. Air is not prana. Oxygen is not prana. Rather, breath is considered one of the primary vehicles through which prana is regulated. In classical yoga, prana is the intelligent force that animates every process of life, from movement and digestion to thought, perception, healing, and consciousness itself. Whether prana represents a measurable physical phenomenon, a useful functional model, or something that extends beyond current scientific understanding remains an open question. What is undeniable is that practices designed to regulate prana produce measurable physiological effects. This chapter explores where ancient descriptions and modern science may intersect. 2 languages describing one human organism. Modern biology explains the body through measurable systems. These include the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, the endocrine system, the immune system, cellular metabolism, bioelectric signaling. Yoga organizes the same living organism differently. Instead of organs and tissues, it describes prana, nayus, chakras, bandhas, kundalini. These are not necessarily anatomical structures. They are functional maps used to understand how life, awareness, and vitality move through the human being. Just as a weather map differs from a road map while describing the same landscape, the yogic and scientific models may describe different aspects of the same organism. Neither replaces the other. Each offers its own insights. What might prana correspond to? There is currently no accepted scientific equivalent of prana. Any direct equation would go beyond the available evidence. However, several measurable biological systems may contribute to the phenomena that yogic traditions describe. Possible correlates include bioelectric signaling. Every nerve impulse is electrical. Every heartbeat depends upon electrical conduction. Cells maintain tiny electrical potentials across their membranes that regulate communication and function. Life itself is inseparable from bioelectricity. Fascial connectivity. The fascial network forms a continuous web of connective tissue throughout the body. It transmits mechanical forces, contains sensory receptors, and may participate in whole-body communication. Some researchers have suggested that the pathways described as nadis may resemble functional patterns within this interconnected network, though this remains a hypothesis rather than an established fact. Breath-mediated autonomic regulation. Breathing directly influences heart rate, blood pressure, carbon dioxide levels, vagal activity, emotional state, attention. Since pranayama primarily works through breath, many of its immediate effects can be understood through autonomic nervous system regulation. Metabolic energy. Every cell converts nutrients into usable energy through ATP production inside mitochondria. Without this continuous process, life ceases. Although ATP is not prana, metabolic energy is an essential component of the body's vitality. NASH, electromagnetic activity. The heart and brain generate measurable electromagnetic fields. Muscles, nerves, and every electrically active tissue contribute to the body's complex electrical environment. Whether these fields relate directly to yogic descriptions of prana remains uncertain, but they demonstrate that the human body is far more electrically dynamic than once believed. The 5 vayus. In yoga, prana is said to differentiate into 5 primary functional movements called the panchka vayus, or 5 vital winds. Rather than representing literal air currents, they describe patterns of physiological and energetic function. Prana vayu, located primarily in the chest, associated with breathing, inspiration, sensory awareness, receiving energy. Modern parallels may include respiratory function, oxygen exchange, and autonomic regulation of breathing. Apanavayu, located primarily in the lower abdomen and pelvis, associated with elimination, reproduction, grounding, downward movement. Modern parallels include bowel function, bladder control, pelvic floor function, and reproductive physiology. Samanavayu, centered around the abdomen, associated with digestion, nutrient absorption, internal balance, transformation. Modern parallels include gastrointestinal function, metabolism, and digestive regulation. Udana Vayu, associated with the throat and head, responsible for speech, expression, growth, cognitive clarity. Modern parallels include vocalization, motor coordination, upper airway function, and aspects of executive brain function. Vyana Vayu, distributed throughout the entire body, associated with circulation, coordination, movement, whole body integration. Modern parallels include blood circulation, lymphatic flow, peripheral nervous system communication, and coordinated movement. Together, these 5 values describe a remarkably comprehensive model of human functioning that overlaps in many ways with modern physiological systems. The nadis, channels of communication. Classical yoga describes thousands of subtle channels called nadis through which prana flows. Among these, 3 are considered primary. Ida nadi, traditionally associated with the left side of the body, cooling qualities, rest, receptivity, intuition. Some teachers compare Ida symbolically with parasympathetic dominance, although this should be understood as an analogy rather than a direct anatomical correspondence. Pingala, associated with the right side, heat, activity, action, alertness. It is often compared symbolically with sympathetic activation. Again, this is a functional comparison rather than an established scientific equivalence. Sumna. Running through the center of the subtle body, Susumna is described as the pathway through which higher states of meditation and spiritual awakening unfold. Classical texts state that when Ida and Pingala are balanced, awareness naturally enters Sushumna. Whether interpreted literally, symbolically, or phenomenologically, the central message is clear. Balance precedes transformation. Prana as a functional map. One of the greatest mistakes readers can make is asking whether prana is real in exactly the same way as a nerve or blood vessel. Yoga uses a different kind of map. Consider an emotion like love. Love cannot be located under a microscope, yet its effects can be measured through hormones, brain activity, heart rate, facial expression, and behavior. The experience itself is real, even though no single biological measurement fully captures it. Prana may be understood in a similar way. It describes the dynamic organization of life rather than a single physical substance. Whether future science identifies a measurable equivalent remains to be seen. For now, prana remains one of the most sophisticated functional models ever developed for understanding the living human organism. Bridging ancient wisdom and modern science. Modern science excels at measuring mechanisms. Yoga excels at describing experience. Science asks, what is happening? Yoga asks, what does it feel like? Science studies the body from the outside. Yoga studies it from the inside. When these perspectives are brought together, neither diminishes the other. Instead, they offer a richer picture of what it means to be alive. Perhaps prana is not something that science has disproved. Perhaps it is something science has not yet learned how to describe completely. Practice protocol, breath and energy awareness, 10 minutes. Sit comfortably with an upright spine. Allow your breathing to become slow and effortless. Without trying to manipulate your experience, simply notice the movement of the breath through the nostrils, the expansion and contraction of the chest, the movement of the abdomen, areas of warmth, coolness, tingling, or pulsation, regions that feel open or restricted. Do not try to feel prana. Instead, cultivate careful observation. Like every good scientist, begin by observing before reaching conclusions. Daily tracking. After each practice, record energy level 1 to 10, mental clarity 1 to 10, emotional calm 1 to 10, quality of breathing 1 to 10, areas of tension or ease within the body. Any noticeable changes in awareness. Look for patterns over weeks rather than isolated experiences. Safety notes. This chapter introduces conceptual models rather than advanced energetic practices. Experiences such as warmth, tingling, vibration, or subtle body awareness vary greatly between individuals and are neither required nor a measure of progress. Avoid forcing unusual experiences or interpreting every bodily sensation as evidence of subtle energy. Curiosity, patience, and consistent practice are more valuable than dramatic experiences. The ancient yogis invited us to study life from within. Modern science invites us to study life from without. Between these two perspectives lies a remarkable possibility that the living human being is far more interconnected, intelligent, and adaptable than either tradition has yet fully explained.